What is going on, everybody? It's me, Ben. I am live here on Have At It. This is episode 86. This is NFL free agency talk. As you know, today the NFL started free agency, and man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of the teams making their moves. Um, you are watching this live on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015, as well as Facebook on the Ben Zone. And how's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. I sound a little groggy. It's because I've been sick all week. Last week I was big cold. Was really under the weather. And then today I'm starting to feel a little better, but that's why I didn't do a show last week. But I am on now, so it won't be too long of a show. Obviously, there's got some stuff going on later, but um, obviously we know again free agency has kicked off. A lot of the big names, Miles Garrett re-signs with the Browns. I mean, for a guy that wanted to be traded, um, I guess he said he wants to win, but I guess what was his definition of winning? Was it to win playoff games or to win at the bank? Because he definitely got paid, and um, if you're the Browns, I'm like, why? I mean, you're in salary cap hell for a while, and now you're giving Garrett a brand new contract. Um, you know, it's a 4-year deal or a 4-year contract extension, averages 40 million per year. Um, so it's 160 million total on that extension. I mean, come on, I understand he's a great defensive player. First of all, he's earned it. But if you're the Browns, at some point you got to rebuild. I mean, think about what you could have gotten for Garrett. You could have got a lot of picks. He could have gave you 2 first round picks. He really could have, and you're like, nah, excuse me, we got to resign him. You know, and again, I get it. He's probably one of the best defensive ends in football, without a doubt. But I mean, at this stage, what Cleveland's not going to do anything for a while anyway. So I guess Miles is like, cool, I'll take the deal. I'm guessing that's what it is. But I just feel like, and good for Garrett. This is not on Miles Garrett. This is the Browns. They continue to do Cleveland Brown things, and it's not going to change anything anytime soon. So you know, it's unfortunate because I think Garrett could be a real asset to the playoff teams that need a defensive end that are ready to compete for a championship. And instead, he'll be in Cleveland for the next few years. So I don't know. Best of luck to him, but I don't think it really changes anything with the Browns as far as to the trajectory, of them trying to get to the playoffs. So I don't know. There's again a lot of free agency going around, not just Miles Garrett, but I'll talk about the Bucks real quick. My team, Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin's back, 3 years, $66 million. Um, like I said, 44 guaranteed. I pretty much knew Godwin would be back. I don't think there's any question. Just going to be what kind of deal he would get, and I think it's a good deal. Considering that he's had his injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's one of the best receivers in the league. And I know the Patriots supposedly were reported to offer him a lot of money, but he wanted to stay in Tampa. I mean, the connection he has with Baker Mayfield, and of course, being next to Mike Evans, it's the best wide receiver duo in the league. So why not? You know, again, you never want to wish anybody getting injured, but in a way, in a weird way, it did help the Bucks a little bit. I think didn't have to throw too much cash out there to land him, and maybe there were other teams that were willing to get him, but I think Godwin's injury may have kind of you know maybe teams weren't as hesitant to throw money at him, but if that's the case, good for the Bucks. They were able to re-sign him. He's there for at least the next 2 years because he got 44 million guaranteed. Another guy we signed, Ben Bradison, our guard, to a 3-year, $22 million deal. You know, I'm okay with that because I get it. He's not great, but he started all 17 games this past year, and he's good in run blocking. And we got great running backs: Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Sean Tucker. So you need that run blocker, and it's good to have continuity on your team, especially with the offensive line, because that's hard to come by. And there really wasn't that many offensive linemen in free agency anyway, and so signing Bradison made sense. Again, he's okay, not great, but he is a good run blocker, and you have to consider that, especially with the running back team we have on our team, especially with Baker Mayfield being a running quarterback as well. So it'll definitely help us out. And then the one that I think surprised some people today was, especially Bucks fans, including myself, was Hassan Reddick. He signed with the Buccaneers 1 year, $14 million, 12 million guaranteed. For me personally, I'm good with this move, and I know some fans maybe not so much. I get it because last year wasn't good with the Jets. He held out for a big contract and tried to get that big contract from the Eagles. That didn't work, so they traded him to the Jets. He held out. But here's the thing: it's 1 year. It's a prove it deal, and the talent's there. He's had multiple sack seasons uh, prior to 2024, so you're getting a good defensive end. Last year, yeah, it wasn't very good, but on the flip side of it, for 1 year, I don't think it hurts at all that this team can, because we desperately need it, and we knew the Myles Garrett thing was probably unrealistic. So even if they were going to trade him, the Browns, that is, like Jason Light's been known to protect his draft picks. So with Reddick, on a prove it deal, I think it's going to work for our defense. So I'm fine with it, and it's a high risk or a high reward, low risk. If it pays off, then you know that could go a long way for Reddick and the Bucks as far as his future in Tampa. But if it doesn't work out, then it's only for a year. So you know, but I'm okay with it. So um, because again, we need our defense needs to get sacks, needs to get turnovers. Um, so I'm taking the positive approach and looking at Reddick as somebody, if we can get that 2022, 2023 guy, then that's really going to help our defense out, and it'll help our secondary out. You know, I know the secondary has been questionable the last few years. And yeah, it hasn't been great. Last year it wasn't. Obviously Winfield had injuries, didn't play his best when he got back, but you know, a great pass rush will help a secondary out a lot. So hopefully with this Hassan Reddick signing, that will help out. So yeah, overall, I mean, I'm happy with these signings. They make a lot of sense. And we're not done yet. I'm sure there's going to be more free agents. We got to either re-sign or sign that's not on the team now. So Jason Light and Mike Greenberg are going to take care of that, and we'll go from there. So, but anyways, some of the other stuff going on today. The one I really like is DJ Reed, the Jets corner, going to the Detroit Lions. That's going to be a good pickup for Detroit. Um, good cover guy, and Detroit really needs to get their secondary going. I know they got Brian Branch, but as far as corners, that's going to help their defense a lot. So I can't wait to see what Detroit does defensively. DJ Reed's a good addition to that. We also saw Justin Fields go to the Jets, 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. Listen, I think that's a good move. Look, is Justin Fields your future? I don't know. Only because again, it's a 2-year deal, so it's not a long-term commitment. This is more of a let's see how he does. Let's see if we can if this Jets team, this organization, which I don't necessarily trust, but let's see if it could revitalize his career. But he's going to have a good offensive line to help him out. Plus, it also is a good move as far as who his receiver is, Garrett Wilson. And they both went to Ohio State, so that makes a lot of sense. So you got that connection again, and so there's familiarity there. You got Breece Hall, running back. So they got some weapons, and Fields just be a fresh start for him. You know, but we'll see what happens with that. And Sam Darnold is going to Seattle, 3 years, over 100 million. Very interesting there. I think Darnold definitely proved that he can be a starter in this league. Now, is he a guy that can win you a Super Bowl? I don't know, but I do know that he definitely showed out, and if he has a good offensive line, he can do some damage. Got a great arm, and yeah, Seahawks lost Metcalf, and they're not going to bring back Lockett, but they do have Jackson Njigba, so they got a receiver there. They'll probably draft another receiver. So he'll have weapons. But again, good for Seattle. I think he's a little better than Geno Smith, who, by the way, got traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. They made some deals already. Max Crosby re-signed. So yeah, hopefully for Seattle, this could be a good move for them. As far as the Raiders with Geno Smith, we'll see how that goes. I still think they're going to try and get Shedeur Sanders. At least that's the word out here in Vegas. But yeah, so some of the big names in free agency. Blackie Lawless has got a comment. He says, "Thanks for tuning in, Blackie." He says, McMillan hopefully takes a big jump next season, as well as giving us a trio of great wide receivers. Yeah. So yeah, that's a deadly combination that Baker Mayfield has. 3 very good wide receivers. Again, this is as long as they're all healthy, it's going to be a great offense. We have a good offensive line already, so the key is going to be to stay healthy, and especially Godwin. His second year in the last 3 years, he's been hurt, and it's unfortunate, but now you're committing at least 44 million guaranteed to him. So you got to get your money's worth out of him. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and um, they can start making that run, trying to make a run to win a championship. Um, Speaking of receivers, Devontae Adams going to the Rams. My thoughts on that? I think it's a good move. He can still play. He's one of the better receivers in the league. You know, he did pretty good with the Jets. And I get it. He wanted to go with Aaron Rodgers. They thought they could do something with that team, but it didn't work out. It'll be interesting to see where Aaron Rodgers goes because now you got the Giants and Steelers who need quarterbacks. Maybe Minnesota. But back to Devontae, that's a good weapon to have for Matt Stafford. And it shows you right now the Rams want to win a Super Bowl. And they are going to release Cooper Kupp. But I think it's an upgrade to get Devontae. He's a little older, but he's proven that he could be one of the best receivers in football. So I think it's an upgrade for the Rams, along with Puka Nacua. So Nacua and Devontae Adams. That's a great combination. Tyler Higbee's a solid tight end. Got Kyren Williams, Tutu Atwell. And a solid offensive line for Matt Stafford. And the defense is really good. Jared Verse coming one of the better defensive ends in all of football. So the Rams they're looking good right now. So, and again, while we're talking receivers, DK Metcalf, I should say, traded to the Steelers, and then he signed a 5-year, $150 million deal. They need a receiver, and again, they're going to have to get a quarterback. Now, is it going to be Russell Wilson? There's familiarity there because Metcalf played with Russell Wilson in Seattle. Or is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? So who knows? But I think with Justin Fields leaving, going to the Jets, it comes down to Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. And personally, just my opinion, I would go with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he's older than Russ, but I just don't believe in Russ anymore. I just don't think his best days are over with. Now, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be the Aaron Rodgers of the 2010s, but he did play pretty good toward the end of the season last year, and Russell Wilson didn't. He struggled. And I don't think Russ is going to get that back. I still think Russ will be in the league somewhere, but he might be a backup at this point. I think the Steelers should get Aaron Rodgers to go after him. But we'll see how that plays out. Again, there's that connection, DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson. So, that could be a decision the Steelers are looking at as well. So as far as who they want at quarterback. See, there's some other ones I'm trying to think of just right off the top of my head. I'm gonna brain fart here. Again, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better now. So, I'll cheat here and I'll get on the tracker. So, let's see here. Oh yeah, so Arizona Cardinals signed Josh Sweat, 4 years, $76.4 million. It's a good pickup for the Cardinals. Played on the Super Bowl champ Eagles this past year. They could use a defensive end. Cardinals gave up a lot of points last year. Didn't get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. So with this move, that's pretty good. I believe Josh Sweat, he played when Jonathan Gannon was in Philly too, because he was the defensive coordinator. So that's a bit of a reunion right there. So that's good. That's familiarity. Josh Allen, as you know, got the bag. He got 6 years, $330 million. Why not? I mean, Josh Allen's great. He deserves it. One of the few quarterbacks that actually deserves that kind of money. Um, Now the next step is his Bills need to get a defense that can win a championship level defense. Can't all be on Josh Allen. He can only do so much. He's a great quarterback, but um, you know, it's got to be more than Josh. Let's see here. Some of the notables. I will say the one that's going to be under the radar, but a lot of people aren't talking about. They're not sexy signings, but for me, the Chicago Bears did a great job of getting some offensive linemen for Caleb Williams. They traded for Jonah Jackson and got Joe Thuney from the Chiefs. Um, I think those are great moves. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. And how do you do that? You get a great offensive line. You got to protect Caleb. Um, so those are some good moves by the Bears. They know what they're doing. And also, they signed Drew Dalman. That was a good pickup from Atlanta. So they got a center, they got a offensive lineman, offensive guard. So those are good signings for the Bears. I know they're not sexy signings, but they're must-haves, and that'll definitely help Caleb Williams tremendously. For any quarterback, you got to have a good offensive line. So good on them. As far as I just read here that Kenny Pickett, the backup QB in Philly, is traded to the Browns. Be interesting there. Broncos made some good moves. They got Talana Hufanga from the 49ers. If he could stay healthy, he's one of the better safeties in the league. He's a little older, but for Denver, I think that's a good move for their secondary. Get a good, solid safety. Hufanga was on those Super Bowl teams, did a very good job for him. He's got to stay healthy, though. That's the key. So good for them. Obviously, I said earlier, DJ Reed with the Lions. They got Marcus Davenport, for 1 year deal on the edge. So that's pretty good. The Texans signed Braxton Berrios from Miami. That's going to, shore up their wide receiver core right there. Again, there's, like I said, the Raiders with Max Crosby, 3 years, $106.5 million. Good stuff there. The Chargers were able to re-sign Khalil Mack, 1 year, $18 million. So kind of they let him go, but then he's now, well, they didn't let him go. He's a free agent, sorry. But he's back, and at least for 1 year, so that'll help them out. Minnesota got Aaron Jones re-signed. Good move. He was very important to that Vikings offense. I know Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison got a lot of the love, but I thought Aaron Jones was key to their offense too. That really helped Sam Darnold out. Again, it'll be interesting to see where who the quarterback is for the Vikings. Do they go with JJ McCarthy? Or do they go with like an Aaron Rodgers? Who knows? So yeah, so basically that's pretty much all I got for right now. And the Commanders, obviously, the big trade with Deebo Samuel gives a weapon for Jaden Daniels. I like that one. And they picked up Laramie Tunsil from the Texans, so they got those in a trade. Re-signed Bobby Wagner, so that's a great move as well. Get him for 1 year. Same with Zach Ertz, a 1 year deal. So they're going all in. They feel they got a team that can compete for a Super Bowl. Can't blame them for that. And they just signed Javon Kinlaw too from the Jets. So, some good moves there. That's pretty much all I got for now. I just wanted to come on here today to talk about the free agent moves. I'm sure there's going to be more moves coming soon because it's NFL free agency right now. We got to see where Aaron Rodgers is going to be. That's going to be interesting. I know he's a polarizing figure. As a person, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but it will be interesting to see where he goes. If I had to bet, it would probably be the Steelers. It could be the Giants. I mean, it's one of those two teams. I think it's either the Steelers or the Giants. But again, we'll see what happens. As far as my Bucks go, we'll see what they do. Oh yeah, and we just got word from Adam Schefter. The Broncos made another move. They signed Dre Greenlaw, so solid linebacker there. Denver's making moves defensively, and that's good. Because that's something you're going to really need to get going as far as trying to take that next step is to get better defensively. They got some work to do offensively as well, to help Bo Nix out. But so far, the Broncos have gotten 2 San Francisco 49ers defensive guys. So good stuff. Now, I don't know if anybody saw this, but this is a funny gif. If you're a Cowboy hater like I am, the Cowboys have signed nobody yet, but they'll probably sign. They did sign a couple players, but speaking of the Cowboys, who's going to be very happy is Micah Parsons. The Myles Garrett deal. He's going to get the bank, and of course Dallas will wait forever, and then they'll finally give in. So he'll get his money. So yeah, that's very interesting. But again, good move for the Broncos, getting 2 Niners defensive players. But again, those guys have to stay healthy. That's going to be the key. And the Niners, be interesting to see what they do. They have to offload a lot of money. A lot of players to get back in to be with salary cap reliant. So, and they got to sign Brock Purdy, obviously. So, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like he needs to prove himself more. But they are going to probably sign him to a big contract. So that's probably one of the reasons why the Niners want to get back, that salary cap, keep it level. And we'll see what happens there. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and step out, but I want to thank everybody for watching this. If you haven't watched it yet, it's my YouTube channel is Ben Cornett 9015, so you can catch it there. And that's all I got. So I'll try and go on again this week, but again, I'm still a little under the weather, but I thought I'd come on here real quick, just discuss the NFL free agency. It's just one of my favorite times of year, because the NFL never sleeps. So yeah, thought give it a few minutes to discuss. So with that being said, I'm gonna step out, but again, I'll try and come on this week, later in the week. If there's anything extraordinary happening in the NFL, I'll try and come on here. But yeah, that's all I got. So with that being said, everybody, I'm gonna take off. Everybody have a great week, and I will see you next time right here on Have at It. Take care, guys.